Okay, so the person that I decided to choose today is Gary Vaynerchuk, and for those who don't know him, he was a Russian immigrant who moved to the United States with his family, and so basically right now he's an internet personality, entrepreneur, and he runs his own winery business, which has became very successful. And so when you listen to this speaker and give his speeches online, it's just his speeches changes you. Like two qualities that makes him effective is like he's honest and he's passionate. First, let me get started about how he's honest. I remember one time when I was listening to one of his speeches, he was just so honest about everything. Like I remember how he was stating about how he was running his father's winery business in Texas and how he was just like a young 19-year-old kid. He didn't know what he was doing. And then 1 year in of being put in charge of it, he realized, oh my God, the business isn't doing as good as it could be. And then he kept facing many problems, and then it kept pointing down to his personal life, and then everything wasn't going the right way for him. And so when he realized that he stopped blaming other people for why things were going the right way, and then he just pinpointed everything to the real problems, and he was like, he was able to be so honest with himself. He realized that wow, everything has changed, and then if you search him up today, you could see that he's a successful business person. And so as for him, when he's passionate, I remember this one time when he was talking to this kid about how he wanted to start his own weed business where he wanted to grow medical weed in his state, but then the state didn't allow it. And so he was listening to this young millennial talk about his story, and the millennial was just complaining and complaining. And so he looked at the kid and he said like, you need to stop complaining and just go for your dream and do it somewhere else where it would work. And so at first I wasn't really interested, but then when I saw it, it's just the way he talked to this kid. He was able to get this kid to stop thinking negatively and just think about the potential and stop looking at the negatives. Because when this happened, he was not only able to just change the mindset of this little kid who wasn't listening at first, but able to affect everyone in the audience and start speaking, just captivate their attention. So as for behavior, there are three things I like to mention. He's very self-controlled, influential, and comical. And so at first when I say comical, I mean he's very entertaining. When you listen to him, you're not bored at all. He's just able to tell jokes if it's like even if it's like something stupid or silly. It's just it'll make the audience laugh. And so that's just one small behavior that's able to make him so effective. Another thing is when he's self control, he's able to maintain everything. So, for example, when he was giving a speech once and not everything was going his own way, the way he kept himself composed, like shoulders up straight, speaking with a straight voice, not panicking, he shows like some dominance, like he's a confident person and he knows what he's talking about. And this is really important because when you have a person who's self-controlled while giving a speech, it just shows that he knows what he's saying and just it's just gonna change your life. And for the last behavior of how he's influential, I remember this one time where he was just able to get two people of like opposing sides about why we should be for this one thing or against it. And I remember how even though these two individuals didn't like each other, he was able to get them to set apart all their differences and just come together and think about all the opportunities. And so I remember when he was done speaking to this large crowd of thousands of people, it was just how do I say it? He was able to get people to put away their differences and just work together for once. Because I know we live in a time where people just want to hate and just not want to do what's right, but just go for things that satisfies our own ego. And so when you take these qualities and these behaviors that I've said so far, it just makes him an effective speaker overall. And so the two things we could probably take out from public speaking about him is first of all, with each of the failures we have, there aren't really failures. Like every small mistake is just a small learning opportunity that we could use to not only improve, but in the grand scheme, change everything. And that one thing, it might not seem big, but in the long run, it's a small gradual process that changes everything. And so one other thing that we could probably learn or take out from him is that even though it's very educational, we learn that public speaking, it has the ability to connect people. And even though it's easier said than done, although it's able to connect people, it's even if you have people who don't like each other or people that like each other already, the potential of public speaking is just able to connect people from a grand scale of differences of where we're all from. And so overall, I like to say he had a positive impact overall. He's just a person who's inspiring. He changes lives. If you just see him or just go out in person, it's just I could promise you it would change your life. And so that's all.